Hey, Frank, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're on mute. I don't know if that's the intention.
Like, well.
I'm gonna put a note.
I don't want to die.
Okay, when I get back from Guatemala to contact you when I schedule.
Can
you hear me?
I'm gonna go down. And
Yes, I can hear you. I can also hear everybody in the conference room. So,
Here we go.
so just letting y'all know, don't be trash talking me.
Okay, sir, I'm deeply embarrassed and greatly humiliated. Due to unforeseen circumstances, there are any workings and hidden mechanisms of my chronometer on such an accord. The great sidereal movement by which time is commonly reckoned. I cannot with any degree of accuracy state the exact time. I will state, sir, however, it is 31 minutes past the 0900th hour. Believe it or not, folks, that's how I used to have to answer the question when an upperclassman asked me, what time is it? And if you messed up, you had to start all over.
Oh, my goodness.
Believe it or not,
Commend you, sir.
believe it or not, after 50 years, I still remember that. 51 years. So anyway, it's 9:30. We're ready to start. My name is Frank Garabato. I am the one-stop operator. Brian is busy preparing for the huge event that Leslie's going to be talking about here in a few minutes. So welcome to the Community Partner Team Meeting for the month of May. Let's go ahead. Okay, you have to bear with me, folks, because I've never done this before, and I don't have any grandchildren here to help me with all this electronic stuff. You see? Okay. Introductions. I can see a few people on there. Let's go ahead and start with the introductions for the folks who are here in the room.
Start at Jessica Calvert with South Central Workforce Development Board.
Bianca Wilson with Career Team.
Shannon Gotke with Career Team.
Brett Faust with, Veterans Upward Bound.
Oh, Laura. Laura Torres, Employer Engagement Program Specialist.
Teresa Stokes, Admissions Counselor with Job Corps.
Nikki Holtgraver, recruiter for Sky CTC.
Kelly Faust, with Kentucky Steps Refugee, Services Provider.
Ana San Cristobal, New American Workforce Navigator for South Central.
Okay, I see a few people on here. I can't read the names from here. You can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Taylor Bowen with CSEP.
Leslie Whitty with South Central Workforce Development Board.
Josh Huddy with the South Central Literacy Council, previously known as the Simpson County Literacy Center.
Heather Yazzer with Audubon Area Community Services.
Leslie Rich, Allen County Career Navigator Instructor.
Adam Canada with the International Center.
TJ Shockley Hunt with Sky CTC, and I'm also a Workforce Board member.
Okay.
TJ,
Yes, ma'am.
I thought Frank asked who it was, and I said TJ.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were speaking to me. I apologize. I didn't hear
Well,
from.
hi, TJ.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. Okay. let's see, it's Leslie, I'm glad you're on. I think I added you just the other day and I wasn't sure because when I sent out the message, it came back as one of those 404 things. Yeah, and I don't understand this stuff. Okay. Let's see, welcome. Is Pam Pittman on? I think she said she was gonna be on.
She is not, she had something going on this morning and she is not gonna be able to be here.
Okay. Because she mentioned she was gonna introduce somebody new.
That would be me and Kayla Bowen.
Hi.
Kayla was so she is training with her the next couple of weeks. I believe the actual changeover is on May the 20th.
Okay, great. Well, welcome. And if you wouldn't mind, sometime during the day, just send me an email so I can add you to our partner list.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right. Well. Okay, anybody have any news you want to talk about? I will say that later today, I will send out some postings that there is a vacancy at the Career Center, but the Career Development Office. I'll send that out sometime today. Also, I just got yesterday a vacancy for a management position at Lost River Cave. Anybody else want to add anything?
It's Amy Smith Thomas from
Okay.
Butler County Adult Ed. How are you all?
Good.
Good. I just
Hi,
wanted to
how-
give a shout out to our job fair that we had on April 23rd. Bianca and Jake and I had a very successful job fair. We had at least 40. We think it might have been 42 to be exact, because we had 2 that weren't effective in English as quite as well. So I think they forgot to sign in. But we had a variety of people and it was awesome. And 7 people got hired pretty much on the spot.
Hey, Frank, would it be okay for me to do my portion in the breaking news?
Well, let me see. How about now?
Okay, all right. Hey, everybody, Frank, I'm gonna try to share my screen. I'm gonna see if it'll let me do that. So you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about anything. I'm gonna take care of it. All right, so here we go. Okay, can you all see that?
Yeah.
You can? Okay, good. I just want to do a very quick run through of Ready, Set, Hire. It's an event that has come together very quickly, and I'm pumped about it. It's sort of one of these things where some other folks had gotten the idea started, and then it was handed over to us. And I was like, how can we make a hiring event for high school students awesome? So I just sort of started from the very beginning. What can we do to make this different? Job fairs have been pretty much the same since I was back in high school, back in the 1800s. And, we need to be changing with the times. I'm going to be asking for volunteers, but I just want to show you very briefly what this day will be about. So this is the website for Ready, Set, Hire. Employword.com. Employword is a nonprofit that is affiliated with the board. And so we have this domain. And so I created the website on that domain just because we have it, and it is Employword that is actually sponsoring this event. So here's the website, and it tells you about the event on May 7th at the Cave Area Conference Center, formerly known as the Cave City Convention Center. And what we are trying to do is get students to fill out employment profiles prior to the event, get employers to fill out profiles prior to the event. And what we're doing is pre-matching students and employers and setting them up with the interviews. In addition, we'll have activity tables. Shannon, I will be getting with you today, as well as Josh. I don't think he's on this call. Zazak, with the activity table information, but I just want to show you one of my favorite parts of this. When employers and schools and students connect, this is the kind of thing that they get to see. Right now, I'm on the private, or actually I'm going to the private school page right now. All this information is kept protected from the general public. But here is what we have. Here is a guide that I will be creating a similar one today for volunteers. And it just runs through the event itself. Before the event, I have the school session times. I have, here's what's going to happen at different times of the day when schools will be arriving. Here is our venue map. I've really tried to make it as foolproof as possible, which I know is impossible, but I'm really trying. So hopefully all of this information will help, and this will be included in the volunteer guide as well. And here's the thing that to me is one of the most interesting things about this. If I can close this document. Okay, I'm trying to get out of here. Sorry, when you're sharing a screen, it is so hard to see. Okay, let me do this, maybe. Okay, all right, so on the private schools page, here's what employers see, which I think is so awesome, because we need to be celebrating kids who are really trying to step into careers following high school. So I'm just going to select Edmonson County. And here is what employers see. They see profiles that have been created by students and what students are interested in, what type of employment they're looking for. And let's look at this guy right here. Okay, his last name is Baker. He's interested in full-time employment. 3 fields. I added in a couple open-ended questions because I think that really helps you get to know the individual. Counties where I'm willing to work. If they included a resume, they had the opportunity to upload that as well. So employers see this information in advance, and then they can, when they're looking at profiles, they can say, hey, I'm really interested in this student. I want to interview that student. So we're going to be matching up students and employers and based on their criteria, but we will bump that up if an employer directly requests interviews. And 4 of those came through yesterday. So I'm really excited that we're starting to get some traction with this. But the volunteer page, if you are interested in helping out with this event, it's the first time we've ever done it. We've never done anything like this before. We will appreciate any help that you may be able to give. So there is a volunteer application on the volunteer page. Once you fill this out, then I will be today putting together a list of duties and times that you can specify what you're interested in. And again, I really want to keep this event fun and fast-paced, and I think it will be an enjoyable experience. So it's not mandatory. If you can't, you can't. If you can, we would love to have you. Again, it's employword.com. You fill out the initial form, and then you will get more detailed information. So any questions about anything that I've talked about or shown you?
Leslie, I just want to say how cool this is. I mean, it really is just like the way you've got this set up. This is great. Like when you said, oh, we need to change and do something in the future, like this is the future. I think this looks awesome. So congratulations on that.
Adam, I'm about to cry. This is, I mean, seriously. That about made me cry. This has been for the past month. This has been all I've been doing. And there's no platform. I started with nothing. And this is what, because it's like, man, how can I, if in a dream setting, what would we do? And so that's what I'm shooting for. So again, not everything's going to work, but thank you. You just made my day. Keep on going.
You can tell that you put a lot of work in this, and I think the way you've got this set up, I mean, this is whenever you're doing something like this and it makes other people think about things that they can do that are similar to this to make things easy, that's when you know you hit it. And I was sitting here thinking, wow, we should have something like this. So I think this is great.
Thank you. Well, come volunteer if you can. All right. Anything else? I don't want to take up more time than I already have.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Bless you, Frank, for letting me talk our event. Hopefully we'll get some volunteers. I am going to sign off now. I do not mean to be rude, but I am getting back to work, and you all have a great rest of your day and meeting. And thank you all so very, very much.
All right. Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you.
And for all of you, I did send out yesterday the link for anybody who wants to volunteer for this event. And again, we can use all the volunteers we can get. So really, it's going to be huge. And we're looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you there on May the 7th at Cave City. Okay.
Hey, Frank.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, this is TJ. I just wanted to, since we're in the announcement part, remind everyone that we are about to start here at SkyCTC our heavy equipment operation program. And that's going to start May 28th. So if anyone has participants, clients who would be interested in signing up for the heavy equipment program, there is obviously a training cost to that could potentially be WEO eligible. But anyway, if they're interested or you have clients interested, the number is 270-901-4337. And we do have limited slots. So if anybody, I would certainly reach out sooner rather than later. So should you choose to want to refer someone. So I just wanted to remind everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, Frank, if you don't mind, I also would I'm going to have to run pretty soon too. We've got a ribbon cutting that I need to be at soon. The Literacy Council is expanding its reach into the surrounding counties and things. We've always, serviced those counties, but we are specifically doing that through distance learning. So we'd offer one-on-one tutoring for adults who need basic education. That does include English. So if you know people who need one-on-one training, we will have some ESL classes that will be group-based also through distance learning. Just get them in touch with us. Also, we're committing, we're pulling some time for our certified instructor to be present in Warren County Mondays and Wednesdays. So we are looking to partner with people. And also, I'm still pretty new. So if you don't know me, I would love to just sit down and meet with you, figure out what you've got going on and tell you what we're doing. So I appreciate the time, everybody, but I also have to run. So I just wanted to say that. So
Well, Josh, before you leave, it sounds like a great opportunity for you to volunteer for the next presentation at our next meeting.
yeah, what is the date? Let me look at it. I might be able to commit right now.
It's always the first Tuesday of the month.
Thursday.
That's right.
Thursday, I'm sorry. So that would be
June 30th,
June 6th.
June 6th. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Josh,
Gee,
could you
yeah.
send me your information?
I don't know who's talking, but
Oh,
yes.
sorry, Leslie Rich.
Yes.
Thank you.
And what's your contact number or email?
My email is josh@scliteracy.org. Just shoot me an email there. Where you can find us online or all that stuff. I would love to connect with anybody and everybody. I'm driving around places, meeting people and stuff. So thank you guys very much for your time. And yeah, I'll Frank, if you'd like me to present on the 6th, I'll do it.
Very good. Good. You can disregard my last slide. Okay,
Thanks, guys. I'll see you.
thank you. How do I get out of this screen? Thank you to do that. Where do I go next?
I think you have to share your screen again, right? Cause I think Leslie was sharing last. Yeah,
Okay, I need some,
Jessica's going. Jessica to the rest of you.
Okay, Elise.
yeah, I'm gonna.
I can see. Okay.
We're gonna share. Her. Oops, share screen with. Presentation. This one, hidden steps, yeah. You just need to- That's it. I think it's the. Which is the first slide?
It's,
It's not this one, is it?
no. It's,
Yeah, this one. Yeah, it is, just bring it up. At the bottom. Just bring it up. See, it's at the top of it. There you go.
okay.
Something happened. And as a station commander, you had to make people do that. No one else wanted to. That's why I got thick skin now. You get cussed out.
Sorry, folks. I don't. We've got the presentation, we just got to figure out how to put it on there.
I think you can make it.
But now when you call somebody.
There we go.
Can you?
There you
I'll put that there.
And then what?
It's a little different.
Their response is different till they find out who you are.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It's very nice.
Say
Yes,
disagree
ma'am.
that well.
And a lot of times,
Let's see.
they already have a really good idea. A lot of times they've already hooked up with Nikki and South Central Kentucky. Or WK or some, you know what I'm saying? So we can with it. Help them knowing how to get the GI bills. Over to their DRD program and stuff like that.
This make it move.
They have
Just tell me and I'll.
to show them, you know what I'm saying? And I used the program.
Okay, can everybody see that now? Here we go. I'm.
Okay.
Our topic is of course, going to be provided by Kelly Faust, who's a therapist, with the SCRT program.
Yes.
You'll explain
I
yeah.
can. So you ready for me to begin?
Yes.
Okay, so I am here as a resource for everybody. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I know that Bowling Green, you all are hiring workforce development person specifically for refugees and immigrants or new Americans, as Anna calls them, in which they're gonna go hand in hand, the term. But I just wanted to share with you all about our program. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so we're Kentucky Steps, and we have a survivor center. We have a grant for refugees and their families who are survivors of torture. And believe it or not, 150 countries still practice torture in our world today. It's about 30% of refugees have experienced torture, either primary or secondary. And I can give you more information about those definitions. Primary, they've experienced it or witnessed it themselves. Secondary torture, they have a family member who is a primary survivor. And what we know about trauma is that it is cross-generational. It changes the body. If your grandparents experience trauma, chances are it has altered your life experience today. So Kentucky Steps has various programs, and I wanted to share those with you too as a resource, because I know that you all work with others besides refugees and immigrants. But we have behavioral health services. We provide individual, group, and group therapy, refugee services. And then we also have a waiver program for clients who have developmental or intellectual disabilities. All right, so our goal is to provide trauma-informed, we want to be culturally responsible. We say culturally responsive because culturally competent. If anyone ever thinks they're totally culturally competent, they're lying, because there's always something new to learn. And just because you've met one person from another country doesn't mean that you know everybody and they're all alike. Just as differently as we are here in Kentucky and in the United States, so are countries. We want to push collaborative services. We know that we cannot do this alone. We have partnerships with the International Center, Refuge Bowling Green, the school systems, and then additionally holistic care. So mental health is important, just as important as physical health. We look at the holistic mind, body, spirit whenever we are providing services for people. And we specifically specialize in refugees and their families who've been affected by torture, war trauma, and then also when they come to the United States, they have acculturation stress a lot of times. Right? And there are 26 million refugees worldwide. Here in our area, we have lots of people from Afghanistan, Congo, Burma. We're seeing a lot of people from Cuba, and we've gotten some from Guatemala. One reason I know this is because Kentucky Steps, we provide refugee health assessments to all new arrivals that come to our area. I'm actually going to be headed to the clinic after this presentation to do refugee health assessments. And I'll explain a little bit more about that here in a minute, but Kentucky is ranked 4th in the nation per capita for refugee resettlement. And so this is why I wanted to share these services for you all, because you may have refugees and their families who need them. Okay, so The refugee health assessments that we perform, what we have learned from them, and for many studies, is that refugees have a higher prevalence for developing mental illnesses, especially depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress. Refugees are 10 times more likely to develop PTSD. There are, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. I don't want to discourage anybody from hiring refugees because mental illness is prevalent among all populations, more prevalent probably than just plain old regular Americans. But we've identified this. They have a higher risk at this because the definition of refugee, to be a refugee, you had to have fled your country for fear of persecution, or death because of your religion, ethnic group, and many other factors. Okay. So there's a study from Health and Human Services, and this is why I'm passionate about refugee services. One of the reasons is that I've never worked with refugees before until about 3 years ago when we got the grant for the Survivors of Torture Recovery Center program. And I've found that our refugees are so resilient and they're so hardworking. And a study shows that from the Health and Human Services that there's a positive fiscal impact of refugee and asylum seekers. So you hear people, they may say, well, we're providing food stamps, we're providing all these government services that taxpayers pay. Well, our refugees who are in the workforce actually make a positive impact. That means that they are earning more than what the government is spending on their services. So this is another reason to be pro refugee employment hiring. Okay. Okay. The next one. Okay, so we do have the Survivors of Torture services that are mental health, group, and individual services, case management, community health worker for survivors of torture. We have a special grant for Afghans who've been affected by combat that provide the same services. We have a STEPS group that is through Kentucky Office of Refugee Resettlement, and we are providing cultural orientation groups, and we talk about parenting, domestic violence, substance use, and how things were in their country and how they are different here and how to be prepared for that. We have the police come and talk to the parents, but we hear many parents say that their kids tell them, you know, I'll call the police if you try to spank me or whatever. And so we try to educate refugees to help them be more successful in acculturation here. We do that with the International Center. We just started, we actually started group number 7 yesterday. We do 2 groups, 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock group, and these are for new arrivals. And we have a community health worker program. And our community health workers, we hire from within the community. We have Lewis, he's our first community health worker. He's from the African community. He speaks 6 languages. So he works with many African families, and it's just to connect them because all health, you know, all mental health is health. If you are if your basic needs are not being met, like housing, food, medical care, if you're not feeling safe, then this is going to affect your mental health. So community health workers are a resource there to help connect all these things. All right, so this is, we also do parenting classes, the screenings, we provide education for community partners. We are planning a refugee simulation event in September of this year. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact date, but it will, we did this with the Red Cross grant last summer, and we offer it to the community, and it'll give you an opportunity to kind of come in and get a more in-depth look of the refugee experience. There's pre-migration stressors that happened during migration and then post-migration. The stress and trauma does not end after someone comes to a new country. They still may face discrimination or just not knowing the language, inability to find resources. So we'll give you a better look at that, and you'll have the opportunity to participate and like you're a refugee and get an experience there. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. The triple trauma paradigm is what we call it. And these are, I won't read all of these, but I wanted you to see that all of the different things that refugees face before they even come to our country in the pre-flight and the flight. In refugee camps, I don't want to give you all of our information because I want you to come to the simulation. But the flight, even during refugee camps, they're still experiencing, hunger, lack of medical care, all of these traumatic experiences that we as Americans have no idea about. And then you can see that the post-flight list, which is after they come and resettle in a new country, is equally as long. Okay. All right, so there is my contact information. If you have employers who employ lots of refugees and they identify employee that may need some help or services, we are glad to come and speak to them. We are different in our area because we will actually go to the person's home. We do not have to have them come to our office. We can make arrangements to go to them. Okay. And thank you all so much for having me. I have to get to the clinic now. Does anybody have any questions?
Is the simulation open to the public?
Yes, it will be. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Who would be the contact for that?
Me.
You.
For now, yes.
Okay.
Paige and I are doing it together and we'll have our interns back by then. So yes.
Hey Kelly, do you all provide transportation to the clinic if someone's wanting to go there as a client that's a refugee to get therapy or your services?
Hey, Adam. Yes, we do. We if they cannot come to us, we will go to them.
Okay.
If they have Medicaid, they will call, which most of our refugees do have Medicaid. We can set up Medicaid transportation as long as there's not a vehicle in the household. We do not have like a bus system, Adam, that goes frequently, but we will make arrangements to get a person seen.
Okay. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
You have many, access to different communities, Afghan, Cuban, or Hispanic, Congolese, and you provide, of course, interpretation for that. So you have intern,
Yes.
and if the access at this clinic is with different languages.
Yes, absolutely. That's part of being culturally competent. If you can, that's one of the main things. You cannot provide services without interpretation. That would be, unfertile. Yes, we provide interpretation either in person or we have many interpreters that work for us, but we also use Language Line.
Because it's not, many times it's not only make the interpretation.
Yes.
You understand exactly the problem and it's part of the team.
Yes, and there's so many dialects too, and we advocate for people. Our clients, we have gone to court with them before. There's a brief story I'll share where we were there with a client. Their child was in some trouble and they were just looking very confused. Fortunately, we have a case manager who's from the Karenni community, April May's little sister, Sue May. Sue May was there and the judge was asking them questions and they were just like looking very confused. It was almost like they were not taking it serious, is what I think the judge was interpreting, and he's a bear. And Sue May said, Kelly, they are speaking Burmese. This family speaks Karenni. And so we were able to advocate for them and say, they cannot understand what you're saying. just because someone's from Burma, the United States, we have like English and then we have more Spanish speakers. But most of these countries, even that are much smaller than the US, they have hundreds, even thousands of dialects. Language is so important. We do education for child protective services in the schools, and that's one thing we push is communication. Make sure you have an interpreter. We use Heath Ray. I just saw his face pop up there. We use interpreters from his Bridging the Gap program. Yes, we try to make sure that they've been trained by Heath, and we get referrals from him all the time. But language, I can't stress that enough. We push that. Language is so important. Miscommunication is the cause for so many conflicts, and we've had kids removed from homes because of miscommunication, people arrested because of miscommunication. It causes, even when we speak the same language, communication can be such a big problem. So it's so very important.
Because it's the same for Spanish, not all people speak the international Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, so many times, or for example, Guatemala, there's a group that don't speak Spanish, speak Acateco.
There's also
And many
Quechua.
people, you speak at the person say, yes, yes, and they not inform you that they don't understand. So in one moment you say, do you understand? But really, are you sure you understand? So this is communication, and the real interpreter is not only to make a translator.
Why wouldn't you just say, I don't understand? Because refugees and immigrants have been marginalized populations, people who have been tortured. They have been used to people in positions of power, controlling them. And so they're accustomed to not speaking up. So we really try to push speaking up for yourself in English language.
And most Americans think if you talk slower and louder, everybody understands.
My clients think I have no sign language because I'm always talking with my hands. Yeah, but yes.
You know, one thing I will say, and Corey, this is my wife, and one thing they do I think is incredible is with the Afghan national veterans that are here. As a veteran myself, retired Army, the impact it had on me going to these meetings and them just being able to, and just another soldier, right? I mean, regardless of what country, the soldier relating, they don't have a VA. They fought side by side with Americans and other nationals for some of them 20 years, and then they come here. They don't have a VA. They don't have benefits. They don't have, this is their resources. And so, and me and Kelly have talked about this. So I have a heart for that as a veteran, So I think that I'm not trying to steal any of your
Yes,
thunder.
you are. Yes, you are. You're taking over my presentation.
No, but that's just something they do that I think is just so honorable. And they do more than that, but that's the thing that impacted me, because as a veteran, another veteran may say, well, no, you don't know. You don't know because you can't write. As Americans, we're very spoiled. We have first world problems. And I'll shut up now. I just wanted to share it.
Thank you all. If there's any other questions, Frank has my email address. Please feel free to reach out. We already work with several of you that are on the screen, and thank you all so much for what you do. And I worked in employment services for about 12 years through Life Skills. And so I know how important it is for people to have good mental health so that they can work to the best of their ability.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. What I'm going to do is, I know some of these slides were busy. What I'm going to do is after this meeting, I will go ahead and forward the PowerPoint presentation to the partners so they can get a closer look at some of those really busy slides.
Yeah, we have a lot. Can I get my thumb drive off from you?
Oh, well, before you do. Make a copy of that before you read.
They're nonprofit, right? So I mean, everybody's got to give what they got.
We're not a nonprofit, but we run like a nonprofit, and we're looking to become a nonprofit. Just for clarification.
Okay, the next slide, I can't get onto it. The next slide is, it's our next presentation, June 6th, and thank you, Josh. I know he's not there for volunteering, but I'll send that out. Our next meeting is, community partner meeting is gonna be on June the 6th. And the following meeting in July happens to be on the 4th of July, so we will not have a community partner meeting on July. You're welcome to come to it, but I won't be there, so. Okay, so anybody have any questions? Thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you for showing up.
Good meeting.
Here we go. Thank you.
I thought you was gonna grill on the 4th, man.